financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, so what about resolving credit card debt outside of bankruptcy? Jenny Lingl, nice to see you.
Hi, Ken. Good to be here today.
Jeffrey Kirshner,
Great to see you, Ken.
disability workers' comp expert. Jenny's a tax
I
expert.
still am, yes.
And Brian Small,
Always a pleasure, Ken.
our financial guru, estate planning expert. This is going to be your show, baby. We're talking about solving credit card debt
Is that why
outside of
is that why
bankruptcy.
I get first chair today?
We wanted to put you in first chair.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're not even playing a musical instrument, and you finally made it into first chair.
Thank God I'm not playing a musical instrument. I would scare the audience.
For all of us. All right, little bit about credit cards. I went online and there was a good website, comparecreditcards.com, and it's the report for September of 2018. The average credit card interest rate is now up to 15.54%. That's the highest in 22 years.
No, wait.
For a long time, it was
That's
about
the-
14.5.
And that's the average. Think about the fact that that pushes to get to be 15% average. Somewhere there's a credit card with 30, 40, and 50%.
Every person who has one of those 6.99% cards at 7%, there's somebody else who has one at 23.9% just to balance those two credit cards off at one. So yeah, you've got the high rates and the rates are going up.
You know what? I'm finding people aren't even paying attention right now to what their rates are.
They never do.
Oh, no, they never do.
They never do.
Oh, I got a credit card. I've got some spare cash that I can spend on my credit card. That's all that matters.
And you know, one of the reasons why they don't is initially they say, well, I'm going to pay it off every month, so I'm not going to pay any interest. And then all of a sudden they start paying the interest, and then they know that the interest rate is there, and they don't want to look at it because they don't want to think about it, because it's obnoxious when you're paying that much interest. After all, it does cost the bank about 1% for them to borrow the money to loan it to you at 20% interest. Think about if you were in retail and you could mark up your products that way. You
They
know,
do.
no,
do.
they don't.
I think if we actually went to the store and went to purchase an item, and then on top of that item they added the interest we're going to pay from charging it on our credit card to it, a lot of us might think twice. But I don't think we all think it through when we're at the store and we want those jeans or that toy or whatever it is at that moment.
It'd be more than think twice. We wouldn't buy the products. We would be better consumers. We wouldn't think about buying something for that
I mean,
much
isn't
money.
20% is 50 times in terms of division, if I'm thinking correctly. So if a television retails for $1,000, it costs 50 in context of your interest rate is charging you 20% when it only costs you 1% to borrow the money. There's not that much markup on a TV. I'm sure that $1,000 TV costs at least $75, Brian.
Okay, or 700, but yeah.
Other things. Credit card debt right now is reached $1 trillion. On this report, it was $999 billion, but there's several others that say the debt's over $1 trillion. And the increase over the previous month was $16 billion. The banks are loaning this credit card debt at the fastest rate ever. It's increasing at the rate of 5 to 6% annual rate.
You got to put it in
It's an
perspective.
alarming situation.
It's more debt than we had credit card wise in 2008 before the economy collapsed.
Yeah, and project forward another year, it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be 20% higher.
And just to tack into what else has gone up, by comparison back then, student loans were about 700 billion. Now we're at 1.5 trillion. So someplace We're
you're
going to
gonna
hit
have all
the
this
tipping
debt
point.
leaning on the consumer between the credit card debt and everything else. Well, there's no question about it, and it's coming. And so we've always talked about credit card debt, and we talk about the tools of financial crisis management and the goal of shedding the debt at the least possible cost and in the fastest manner. And when we go through that, if you've seen the show before, we're always talking about Chapter 7 bankruptcy is probably the fastest, quickest way to get rid of the debt if you qualify. Chapter 13 is an alternative, and then the third alternative that we always talk about is our system of debt resolution, which is resolving credit card debt outside of bankruptcy. We still believe that the smartest play, like if you come into THAV Gross and we sit down and we analyze the thing, is we're going to figure out what's the way to get you out of debt the fastest way at the least possible cost. But we also recognize that a lot of people are very interested in resolving credit card debt outside of bankruptcy in any way, shape, or form. They just don't want to go through the bankruptcy, or they're making too much money for the bankruptcy. So what I thought I would do on this show that we would do together is we're going to dedicate this show to how we go about debt resolution, our system of resolving debt outside of bankruptcy. And for that reason, we're going to only focus on that. We're not going to talk about Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 as we go forward. And I thought we'd use a fictional person, Richard, who makes decent money. He's not willing to consider bankruptcy, but he wants to know the best way to eliminate his credit card debt. And here's Richard's situation. He makes $100,000 a year. He's got $60,000 of credit card debt. Average interest rate on his cards is 20%. His minimum payment is 2.5% of the debt, which means $1,500 a month he's paying on the credit cards. He always comes back and he says this: I'm Richard. I can make the payments, but I never have any extra cash at the end of after I pay my bills to live off of. So when I go forward, if I have to buy something between paychecks, I have to charge it.
That's a typical scenario for people who have fallen into the credit card trap. It's a situation where once you're in it, you can't get out. And you got to do something dramatic to change what's going on so you can get out of the credit card trap and eliminate the debt.
Now think about the credit card trap visually. Think about the mouse on spinning the wheels, and he's in that trap. That's what the credit card trap is a perfect analogy to. You can't get out of it because you have to keep on spending. When we get back from the break, we're going to go through and solve Richard's problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so let's look at Rich's problem. All right, first of all, let's put some numbers out there. His interest cost is $12,000 a year. That's 20% times $60,000. In order to make that $12,000, Rich has to pay his taxes. So let's assume his tax bracket's 15%. In that case, he has to make $14,117 to net the $12,000 in interest. So he's taking 14.117% of his gross income.
But that's irrelevant, Ken, because that's the interest. You forget about the fact that there's the payment's higher.
Then let's do the payment. His payment's running him $15,000 a year, and in order to come up with the money to net $15,000, he has to gross $17,600 a year. So he's really, your point is right, Brian. He's really taking 17.6% of his gross income just to make the minimum payments on the credit cards. The balances don't go down because he's in the credit card trap. Long term, just so that Rich understands what he's doing and sacrificing, if he can get rid of the $1,500 a month he's paying on the credit cards, save it at 5% interest, in 10 years that's $232,000. In 20 years, it's $616,000.
Now,
it's retirement money.
No, those are crazy numbers, because you're assuming that people are going to be able to save the exact amount that they were otherwise paying on their credit cards. But
because they're paying, most of it is interest, so they're paying the juice. So if you don't have to pay the juice, I'm putting the money in the bank. But you're going to say, suppose he doesn't save it all.
I was going to say,
I knew you were going there.
If he doesn't save it all,
say he saves half.
Well, look at that. Then it'll be $116,000 saved over 10 years, $308,000 saved
Good division.
over 20 years. It's a factor of no matter what you do, if you are going to take the picture of taking $100 in $1 bills, okay, and go stand over your toilet and flush them down the toilet one at a time, they're still gone.
My toilet would overflow and flood
Okay.
thousands of times in that situation.
I'm just telling you that they're still
I'd
gone.
have to shred them first.
Okay, if you shred them, they're still gone. If you pay them to Visa and MasterCard, they're still gone. If you save them, they're there for your retirement. If you save half of them,
So instead
they're
of flushing
there
them
for
down the
your retirement.
toilet, we take them and we put them in the desk drawer.
Well, I would say some sort of investment vehicle would
So
probably be more
the drawer
appropriate.
grows. Okay.
But even if you put them in the desk drawer, it's more than you have if they're gone.
All right, so let's talk about how we accomplish that. So we're taking Rich, he's got $60,000 of credit card debt. We're not filing bankruptcy. We're going to talk about how we resolve it using debt resolution, and how debt resolution is different than what you see and hear on radio and TV about debt settlement. It's totally different. All right, now, the key concept of debt resolution, which is something that we developed ourselves, is to take the power of the minimum monthly payment.
No, I'm sorry. You didn't do that. It should be the power of the minimum monthly payment with an echo behind it.
And we'll have some visuals on
I
there.
think we
for
need
people
some more
to
money for
see.
sound effects here. We need somebody sitting
But
in the
it
back.
is, it's worth the emphasis you're giving to it, because here's the concept. We said if you can take that minimum payment he's making every month, $1,500 a month, and use that pot of money to settle the debt, to pay the attorney fees to do so in a relatively short period of time, which we defined as a maximum of 24 months. If you can accomplish that goal, then as soon as the debt is resolved, whether it's month 18, 19, or 24, every month thereafter, you're $1,500 ahead. If you don't do it, we already know what Rich is going to do. He's going to pay $1,500 a month for the rest of his life and die with $60,000 of credit card
But you're
debt.
more than just ahead $1,500. because that's just the insurance. You still
Right.
have this. You still have this principle that by doing it this way, you get rid of that principle also. So it's saving even more than the $1,500.
But the
a month.
1,500
No, the
is the
1,500
money
is
just
growing in the bank.
throwing
Right.
away
Right.
because it's just going each
No, no.
month to
All right,
interest.
so
not
wait,
even
now let's
buying
look
him
at
anything.
that power of the minimum monthly payment. You put your finger right on it when you said it's $1 that we're going to pay in to a program, so to speak, and for 12 to 24 months, okay? And if you can get rid of the debt, anybody can do anything for a year and a half, okay? You've been doing it for the last 10 years.
If you have the cash flow to make that minimum payment.
So what we do is we take that minimum monthly payment and we use it and we save it up. It's a war chest to negotiate with the creditors. And historically speaking, that 18 to 24 month savings that you put away has been more than enough to take care of all of the debt and negotiate it properly and get rid of it. That, in concert with doing some manipulation of your own budget, where we do some budget management, where we find waste in your budget,
To increase your cash flow.
allows us to make it feel like even less than the minimum monthly payment. Because if we can find $200 a month that you've been wasting in your budget,
Now
and,
you've got 17 instead of 1,500.
and everybody wastes money, every single person, and it's as simple as sometimes.
No. You do not waste money.
Well,
No, he
Every
does.
other person he does.
Well, he does now. There was a period of time he didn't.
I do waste some money, everybody does, but I am very careful about it. It's a very small percentage because I've done the budget management routine for myself. The key is that in concert with getting rid of the debt, if we can eliminate waste in your budget, we find a bigger pool of money to work with. That bigger pool of money allows you, the consumer, to get out of debt sooner, which gives you the opportunity to save money sooner.
All right, so here's the scenario. So when we talk about it, we're still focused on this 24-month period. What we do is we analyze the amount of the debt and your income, and if you have that income, we see it as a window that we can get you out of the debt in 18 to 24 months. When we come back from the break, we're going to explain how we do that.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us Tuesdays 10 a.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m. for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, 93.5, 98.3, and 99.9 FM. And then on Saturdays, 11 o'clock a.m. for Law and Reality Here and Now on WMUZ AM 1200. Be sure and sign up for our free contest. Every month, free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and copy of Dump Your Debt. Just go to the Law and Reality website, click on the link to sign up, and you're in. We have seminars coming up on Wednesday, October 17th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Estate planning is not an option. We're going to go through the elements of an estate plan, key documents you must have while you're living, key documents that address your demise. You need to realize that estate planning is not only about dying. The power of attorney issues for health care and for taking care of your affairs while living are critical components of an estate plan and things that you must address while you're living. We're also going to talk about how to address probate issues. Attendees receive a $300 gold certificate off the cost of any estate plan. Then on Wednesday, November 7th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., we're going to have a debt seminar called I'd Rather Eat Turkey Than Be a Debt Turkey. We're going to talk about all the methods we use to preserve future income for you and your family so that you have something to retire with, debt elimination, using bankruptcy, debt elimination outside of bankruptcy. I know you guys just love that name, I'd rather eat turkey than be a debt turkey. I happen to love it myself. We're going to have a special segment with Jenny Lingl on how to resolve tax issues. Jeff Kirshner will also stop by and talk about disability and workers' comp. We're going to have attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. You can always come into THAV Gross for a free consultation. You want to remember to do that. Go to the website, thavgross.com, lawandreality.com. You want to meet with Pat Simasko on elder law issues, Brian Small on estate planning issues, financial crisis issues, Jenny Lingl on tax issues, with me on business issues, Jeff Kirshner on disability and Social Security and workers' compensation claims. Just go to the website, sign up, and we'll call you back and schedule the appointment. Also, be sure and check out the free reports on the website. We have a great report on how to save your home from foreclosure. Pat Simasko has a Retiree's Guide to Social Security, and we also have a report on business formations, loans and grants for small businesses in Michigan. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Simasko Law, and Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Nothing provokes panic and fear like the threat of a school shooting. Unfortunately, we've seen a sharp increase in students making copycat threats in order to gain notoriety. I'm Macomb County Prosecutor Eric Smith. Students, this behavior will not be tolerated. Felony charges will be brought against anyone who threatens the safety of our schools. Parents, please talk to your children and pass along this message. If you threaten our schools, it will cost you your future.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're talking about debt resolution. For Rich, we're talking about a 24-month period. Now, here's what you need to understand. It's not the same that you see on TV and the radio about debt settlement. Debt settlement, first of all, they sell a program and they talk about 48 months.
Yeah, the
right?
majority of those programs say, we're going to put money away and escrow it for 4 years
and an even monthly payment.
Right.
Things you need to know.
Liars.
There is no guaranteed payment. What we do is we create the pot of using that $1,500 a month over that 24-month period is the fund that we use to settle the debt. The settlements vary.
Wait, clarify something. We use the minimum monthly payment, whether it's $1,500, $600,
correct,
$300,
because
that's the tool we effectively use to get you out of debt.
And when we use that, the settlement ranges on the different credit card companies can be as low as 20%, occasionally 15%, and as high as 60, 65%. It depends on the company and what channel it's coming to. So the settlements vary, On average, the settlements end up coming into the range of around 35 to 38% on our program. But we only do it if we think we can get it accomplished in 24 months, because if it's going to go 48 months, you're going to be better off in either a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 than you would be in debt resolution, and it's still about getting you out of debt quickly. Now, the next thing that you need to know is if you get sued because you haven't been paying the credit cards during this period in which we're trying to settle, we defend that case as part of the program at no additional cost. We're attorneys, we go to court, we fight. Sometimes we actually have to get into court in order to get the best settlement because the credit card company may be holding off for a higher rate.
And that's a big difference between our program of debt resolution and the debt settlement companies that you see on TV, because when you look at page 35 of their retainer agreement, it'll say, by the way, we're not lawyers, and if you get sued, we're not going to defend you.
They don't defend you.
We do.
Right, absolutely.
It's important to know the difference.
Major point. And then I'll just put out costs. We charge 8.5% of the debt. That's the cost, and it's the debt existing at the time the program starts, not the debt as it's growing before we've settled it. We charge no fee to hold your money. There's no setup fees. Debt settlement companies charge 15 to 18% of the debt. They charge a monthly fee to hold your money, that minimum monthly payment money that you're supposed to use to settle it, and they don't. And if you get sued, they recommend an attorney for you who then is going to charge you. It's a completely different program. Don't think of it as the same thing. Debt resolution was designed by us, not focused on debt settlement, focused as an alternative to someone who wants to take a smart approach to resolving credit card debt outside of bankruptcy. Now let me kind of give you a quick sense of how we do it. The chart up on the wall shows the different credit cards. We put them out there, and each one we look at the balance, the estimated settlement that we think we'll obtain from the card, and what percentage that comes to, and then we look at it in the aggregate to see what it costs. So in Rich's case, we see $60,000 of credit card debt. Our estimate based upon credit cards A through E is that we'll settle them for around $20,800, which comes in around 34.79%. Add his attorney fee of $5,250. His total cost is $26,000. Divide that by the $1,500 per month. It means we're projecting him out of debt in 17.4 months. So Rich fits within that 18 to 24 month period fine, based upon his income, based upon his minimum monthly payment. He's a good candidate for debt resolution. He probably wouldn't qualify, being single, for Chapter 7 bankruptcy at $100,000.
No,
this
he
is
would,
a good
he would,
program
he would
for
actually
him.
be a Chapter 13. And just quick comparison, Rich would have to pay back every penny he owes in a Chapter 13, which is why debt resolution is a more effective solution.
So there you have it. When you watch on TV and you hear those commercials about debt settlement, do not think that it's the same thing as debt resolution. It's a different program. The concept and the idea of resolving debt outside of bankruptcy is good, but you've got to do it the smart way, and the smart way is through debt resolution. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.